guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am hot. Yeah, if I look hot and sweaty at all, it's because I genuinely am. It's about 28 degrees outside. I'm sitting in a room with my door closed, my window closed, because my neighbour has like the loudest hobby ever, and we don't have air conditioning in the UK, so I am boiling hot. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as I can. But today I'm here with a video all about fast passes in Walt Disney World, kind of just a general rundown of fast passes, and then I'm also going to go through all 4 parks and tell you what I would personally choose for fast passes, mainly if I just had one day. If I had one day to go to these parks, what fast passes I would choose to use. So for anyone who doesn't know what a fast pass is, at Walt Disney World, a fast pass is when you basically, in a sense, you like pre-book a ride and then you have an hour slot to go to that ride and ride it with basically no queue, or you might be waiting 5 minutes. If you're going to Disney, I would say utilise the Fast Pass Plus system, because if you don't, you're going to be waiting in queues, and some of these queues get massive, and if you plan this right, you won't have to wait in many queues. Trust me, when we went last year, we didn't wait very long for many things because we had our fast passes and we skipped all the rides with the big queues. So regardless of whether you're staying on site or off site at Disney, you have the choice to book up to 3 fast passes per day. Now, if you are on site, you can book these fast passes up to 60 days in advance, and off-site guests can book up to 30 days in advance. Even if you're an off-site guest, I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, you might not get the times that you want, but when we went 3 years ago, I know it's changed quite a bit since, but when we went 3 years ago, we booked our fast passes the day before we went to our first park, and we got all the fast passes we wanted. So don't worry about it, but there are some fast passes that are so much harder to get. So these 3 fast passes must be booked at the same park. You cannot book like one fast pass in Magic Kingdom, one at Hollywood Studios, one at Epcot. They must be in the same park per day. So once you use those 3 fast passes, you can then actually book an additional fast pass. So you can do this either at kiosks, which I still believe that they have dotted around the parks. I could be wrong. You can also do it on the My Disney Experience app, which is what we use because it's just easy. If you've got your phone, it's easy enough to do. And yeah, you can just select some rides. Usually the choice isn't incredible. All the really good ones are usually gone, but you can usually get a few good fast passes in there. Also, if for some reason you can't make a fast pass, I would definitely recommend cancelling your fast pass, because there are so many people who would really benefit from using that fast pass, who would really appreciate it if they could get that. So if you can't make like your Soarin' fast pass or your Frozen fast pass or your Seven Dwarfs fast pass, cancel it. Someone else can grab it and it will make their day. So that's kind of like the basic rundown of fast passes. Now I'm going to go into all 4 parks and what 3 attractions I would personally recommend getting if you only had one day at the parks. Also, I just want to say as well that when we go to Disney, we always make sure that we have one morning where we get to the park for opening, because opening time at the parks is kind of like getting an additional fast pass. You can go like straight to one of the really popular rides and you're probably not going to have to wait at all, or if you are going to wait, not that long. So it's always good to get there for opening, and with these fast passes I am going to recommend, like, don't get this one as a fast pass because you can get there for opening and you can head straight there. So I'm going to start off with the Magic Kingdom, and the 3 fast passes that I would personally recommend, well, 2 that I would definitely recommend, are Seven Dwarfs and Peter Pan's Flight, mainly because they just get massive queues. And I know a lot of people say that actually wait for Peter Pan's Flight because they have a really cool interactive queue. But like, personally for me, if I can just go straight on a ride, I don't care if I'm waiting in like a hour, 2 hour long interactive queue. I would personally say get a Peter Pan fast pass, get Seven Dwarfs. Those are the ones that are going to go quicker. Those are the ones that are going to have the biggest queues probably in the Magic Kingdom. And then for your 3rd fast pass, I would say get one of the mountains. Last year when we went, Big Thunder Mountain was closed, so we got a fast pass for Splash Mountain and headed straight to Space Mountain when we first got there. And that first hour when we were there on our very first day, we got like Space Mountain, Buzz Lightyear, Speedway, People Mover, like so many rides done in the first hour without any waits at all. So I would say probably don't get Space Mountain actually, or maybe do. Maybe get Space Mountain and you could do the other 2 mountains first thing, or if you're going to do it the other way, do Space Mountain, get tons of things in Tomorrowland done, and get one of the other mountains. So now we're going on to my favourite park at the moment, which is Epcot. And Epcot actually has tiered fast passes. Actually, Magic Kingdom's the only one now that doesn't have tiered fast passes. So keep that in mind when you are making your fast pass choices. So in Epcot you have tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 is the one where it has all the rides that you want to go on, all the rides that you want fast passes for, and then tier 2 is just filled with fast passes you really, I mean, you'll take them, but... So in tier 1 you have Soarin', Test Track, Frozen and Illuminations. I don't think there's anything else along with those. I think those are the only 4 ones. I want them all, well, apart from Illuminations. I would personally say though, if you're going to pick from those 4, don't pick Illuminations, mainly because Illuminations goes on in the middle of the, or what's it called? The World Showcase Lagoon, is that what it's called? I'm going to call it that. And there's so many places to see it all the way around. You can stand anywhere around the lagoon and you can see the fireworks. You have an amazing view of the fireworks. So I'd say don't do that. The only reason I would ever get a Illuminations fast pass is if I was looking for additional fast passes and none of the other ones were left. That would be the only reason I would personally get one. So I would personally say to get a Frozen fast pass, and when you get there, head straight to Test Track, and then after Test Track go to Soarin'. This worked perfectly for us. This has worked perfectly for us over the years. Well, Frozen wasn't there years ago, but Test Track to Soarin', it works perfectly. I know they're like on the opposite ends of Future World, but it works incredibly well, and you don't have to wait that long either. But I would always say go to Test Track before Soarin', because the queue always seems to build up quicker than the Soarin' one in the morning. At least that's what I've found. I think Soarin' has a much higher capacity. Yeah, it does. It definitely does, especially with the third screen. Has a much higher capacity than Test Track. So Test Track to Soarin', and then get a Frozen fast pass, because Frozen gets busy, and the thing is, a lot of people head straight to Frozen first thing. So even if you go to Frozen first thing, you might get on straight away, but you might also have to wait because a lot of people have that same idea. Tier 2 is basically things like Spaceship Earth, Mission Space, Nemo and Friends, Turtle Talk, meet characters like Mickey and Minnie, and yeah. For tier 2, I would say if you like meeting characters, get that meet and greet fast pass. I believe it's Mickey, Minnie and Goofy, but if you do like meeting characters, that's a great way to get into that meet and greet really, really quickly, and it's probably a better fast pass than all the other ones, to be fair. As for the other one, I'd say maybe Mission Space or Spaceship Earth. Mission Space probably. I personally don't like Mission Space, but I would say if you want to go on Mission Space, Mission Space. If not, Spaceship Earth. Also, never go on Spaceship Earth first thing, because everyone has that idea and the queue builds up massively, and then by midday there's no one there because they've all done it in the morning. So yeah, my 3 fast pass choices would be Frozen, Mission Space and Meet Mickey and Pals. Now we're on to Hollywood Studios, and again this does have tiered fast passes as well, but this choice is really, really easy for me personally. So tier 1 you have the likes of Rock and Roller Coaster, Toy Story Midway Mania, Great Movie Ride, Beauty and the Beast, Fantasmic. I would personally say when you get to Hollywood Studios, go to Rock and Roller Coaster. There's no queues, head straight to Rock and Roller Coaster and then do Tower of Terror after because it's awesome. Straight to Rock and Roller Coaster, get a fast pass for Toy Story Midway Mania. The queue's really cool in there, but if you can get on it quicker, why wouldn't you? Although they do have the extra track for Toy Story, it still gets quite busy, so I'd recommend getting Toy Story Midway Mania. I wouldn't choose a Fantasmic Fast Pass. That's so hard to say because it's such a big auditorium, that's what they call it, isn't it? I think so. That you can generally get a seat if you get there early enough. I mean, we got there pretty late last time, we still got a seat, but it's big. Just get there early enough. Plus, I would also recommend getting a Fantasmic dining package. Now you can eat at Mama Melrose, Brown Derby, Hollywood and Vine. Either of those 3. You can use your dining plan credits if you have a dining plan or pay out of pocket, but you get reserved seating at Fantasmic, and we're doing that this year, and you'll hear more about that when I do my Disney World plan later. You'll see that soon. But yeah, I would recommend getting a Fantasmic dining package. As for tier 2, I would suggest getting Tower of Terror, because Tower of Terror is like a tier 1 kind of, it could be tier 1 because it's so good, but they put it in tier 2. I'm not complaining, but it's so good. So Tower of Terror and Star Tours, because genuinely I don't care about anything else. You'll see, like with these, like the shows and things, we personally don't fast pass generally because there's a lot of seats. If you get there in time, you've got a seat. If you want one of the best seats, then get a fast pass for a show, but we're not that bothered with getting fast passes for shows. They start at a certain time. If you're there for a certain time, you're gonna see it. So the final park is Animal Kingdom, and they have just recently released tiered fast passing just as they introduced Pandora. So it's a very, very new thing. Tier 1 is just Pandora. It's the 2 rides in Avatarland Pandora. I still don't know what to call it. But Na'vi River Journey and Flight of Passage. So you've got to pick one of those, I believe. I believe you can't not pick one of them. I would personally say Flight of Passage, just because it seems to have bigger queues. It seems like more of the thrilly centerpiece kind of attraction in a sense. So I would personally recommend getting Flight of Passage. I've never been on it, so I can't be like, it's so good, you need to get a fast pass for it, because I don't know. But I've heard amazing things about it. And don't get Na'vi River Journey. I would say get there first thing for Na'vi River Journey maybe, or wait in the queue at the side, or go another day if you can. For tier 2, it's basically everything else in Animal Kingdom, and I would always get fast passes for Everest, Kali River Rapids and the Safari. But I also love going to the Safari first thing, so then it's kind of like, do I go to Na'vi River Journey or do I go to Safari? Luckily we're going to Animal Kingdom like 4 times when we go this year, so I don't have to make this decision. But I love going to the Safari first thing because the animals are so active. It's incredible. So I think what I would probably do is Na'vi River Journey, then head straight to the Safari. Or would I? I don't know. And get a fast pass for Everest and for Kali River Rapids, because I love water rides, so I always need to be cooled down in the Florida heat. If you don't like water rides, though, I know a lot of people don't really like going on water rides, Everest and the Safari are like perfect. I would say generally though, for Animal Kingdom, Flight of Passage, Everest and Kali, unless you don't like water rides, and the Safari. So that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that my fast pass recommendations are useful to you. Let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with me on my choices. I know a lot of people like booking shows and fireworks things, and I personally don't. But obviously it's personal choice and everyone's entitled to their own choice. But let me know what fast passes you're going to be booking for your next holiday. Maybe not all of them, it might be a very long list. But give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe as well if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!